what is it that you need versus what is it that you want, and why do you want it in the first place? These are two very simple questions, yet very powerful, because when you ask yourselves these questions and you go deeper into the different responses that come, so by asking yourselves these questions more than once, then you start to understand where all of these things are coming from. And that might point you on something that needs to be understood, transmuted, and healed, so that then you can step forward into the next level of your personal evolution. So I can give an example from my life, for example. So, it depends where you grew up, which cultures you come from, which country, and so on and so forth. But nowadays, what do you need? Well, I need to go to school, I need to get a job, I need to start a family, buy a house, the drill, right? And so we come to want and think that we need so many things, while in reality, we don't. Because if you really look at it, why do we need all of these things that we think we need? And don't get me wrong, I love technology. I really love technology. I love progress. But yet, why do we need to live, for example, in big cities where we don't even have nature? Why do we need to work for most of our lives doing like 99.9% of the time things that we don't really want to do? For what? To make money, to do X, Y, Z. But then why do we need to do X, Y, Z, aka buy a house, live in a city, or all of these things? Why do we need them in the first place? So this is an interesting point, because if we really go deep on these questions and we remove all the parts of ourselves that are clinging to, no, but I need to do that, we remove, and then what we realize is that we don't really need anything. Yes, we need shelter, we need food, we need water. If we want to communicate, we need internet. I'm recording this on a camera, so we need some things, but going really at the core of it, we don't need to be anything. And I had this come to me, I don't remember when, but I think it was through meditation, that it was like this very clear message that I shared on another video as well, of you, and not me, but like you, all of us, everything. You don't need to be anything, because you already are everything. And simultaneously, we can connect it to, you don't need not just to be anything, but also you don't need anything, because you already are everything. And so here we need to dance, as usual, with a beautiful dichotomy of knowing deep down that we don't need anything because we already are that infinite beautiful expression of consciousness, yet to operate on this planet, we do need something. So there's a fine line to walk. But the main point that I'm trying to make here, and what I encourage you, if you feel called to reflect on, is to really sitting with these questions of like, what do you think you need? Or like, why do you need something in the first place? And so personally, what I decided to do was a progressive journey of removing. I will go deeper on this in the future, but I had the opportunity to live in an indigenous center for 3 weeks, which is not a super long amount of time, but living there really opened my eyes to what I thought I needed. Like over there was no running water, there was no electricity, there was not a normal toilet. There was nothing, yet there was everything. And so that was a really interesting change in the script in my personal life. And so connected to this, I'm now doing this experiment, which is not an experiment, it's just a continuous surrender to the flow of the universe, of living a very simple life in a very simple home with not much. You know, yes, I have a fridge, I have a bed, I have internet, I have a desk where I can use my computer, but it is very, very simple. Yet, I feel really good. And so while living in this place, I'm understanding that, okay, I actually don't need much more. And there's a very significant and powerful beauty with this realization. Because once you realize that, then all the things that you thought you had to do in order to be or buy or get certain things, they just fall down. They become not necessary. And so that allows you to have a different view, a different outlook on life, that allows you to have the capacity, the time, and the right openness to just tune into the real energy of life and let life come through you, so that you can be who you really are, meaning consciousness can flow through you freely and unobstructed, so you can be who you really are.